Today, the National Cabinet was briefed by Dr Kennedy, the head of Treasury, Dr Lowe, the head of the Reserve Bank, and Wayne Byers, the head of APRA. It was an opportunity, an important one, to be briefed fully on yesterday's unemployment figures and how it was impacting across the country. It was also an opportunity for Premiers and Chief Ministers and I to reaffirm our commitment to see how we can work together and how we will work together to get those Australians back into jobs. That is the curve we are now working on together. We noted during that briefing that the stability had returned to financial markets. While they are fragile, they remain very functional. We noted that our banking system has stood up well, but we must be conscious that the shock absorbers that are in our system, whether it be in the banking system or indeed in federal supports and other supports, they have limits. They are not endless. They have capacities. And it's essential that as we move forward that we continue to enable the credit to flow through our banking system to support those businesses who are taking decisions to reopen, to rehire and to move ahead. Some $220 billion in loan deferrals have already been put in place in our banking system, about 2/3 of that in mortgages and 1/3 for small and medium-sized enterprises. The banks have also not been enforcing, broadly speaking, covenants, and they've been holding off on revaluations and not pursuing recovery actions other than for pre-existing cases. Insolvencies are currently running below average. That's obviously supported by what I've just said in terms of the actions that banks have been taking, but also importantly, one of the significant protections that we put in place as a federal government early on was the protections against actions by creditors and others against enterprises in relation to pursuing them and forcing them into liquidation. In addition, the super system, we're advised, is responding very well, the superannuation system, with some $11.7 billion in claims. It was noted that this was consistent with the Treasury estimate and this was not presenting liquidity issues. The head of APRA has advised us, and the industry estimates of what the claims would be have not been realised. Some $90.1 billion in Australian government securities has been raised since March 20 of this year, $56.6 billion on bonds and $33 billion in T-notes. The latest $19 billion this week at 1%, and again oversubscribed. Markets are seeing that Australia is a country that can be relied upon, and that is a good bet in what is a very uncertain time. Our ability to raise this finance in such a difficult time is essential to ensure that we can continue to provide those necessary economic supports and lifeline to the Australian economy, to support the jobs, the households, the payments that are getting people from one day to the next at this difficult time.